in construction of houses starts with identifying the correct piece of land. By correct, I mean legally. It should be land that you own, land that is not disputed or that is not in a public interest zone. The second step is to get the brief of what you really want to build. Is it a residential house for personal use? Are there residential apartments? And confirm that the land you have matches with the requirement in terms of zoning. Every county government, through the Physical Planning Act, is mandated to zone areas. For example, we've got industrial area. We don't expect you to build apartments in industrial area. We've got areas like Karen where you're supposed to build only single dwelling units. So make sure that what you want to build is in line with the zoning regulations. You're required to get a registered contractor. That's the next step. A registered contractor who is duly registered and who has got a practicing certificate from the National Construction Authority to undertake your construction works. You will come to NCA and we'll also register your project. At that point, you can now begin your construction. But make sure that at every stage, the consultants supervise the construction. Some clients also decide to build for themselves. There's no problem with that, but then you must have a registered person who understands the science of construction to do the work for you. So more often than not, that is always a missing link. In fact, every construction failure is as a result of that link, where either you don't use professionals, or you don't use a registered contractor, or you disregard what was approved. For example, you find someone has 3 floors approved for construction, but when he's on site, he gets excited and adds another 2 floors. So obviously, in the design, the loading that is taken care of is for 3 floors. So if you add an extra 2 floors, you're obviously stressing the foundation. Sometimes they also ignore engineers' instructions. For example, concrete sets in a particular time, cures in a particular time, and you cannot proceed with construction after the 28 days. So developers are in a hurry. They think 28 days is too much. So they reduce the time to, say, 10 days. So you find developers removing the scaffolding so that they can proceed with construction in a hurry. And by which time the concrete, even if it had been designed very well and all parameters followed, has not attained its required strength. We are now moving to court to stop dangerous constructions, at least so they don't proceed. And we've already done that, and I think we're going to be successful, and you'll be hearing very, very soon on the progress we've made in that area. Instead of pointing fingers, we're saying, okay, let us be proactive, let us go to court and stop these constructions until what we feel is dangerous is sorted out. But going forward, I think the authority needs to have what we call enforcement powers, because we leave all enforcement to other agencies of government, which has not worked very well. Now, beyond that, I think we need to amend our act to enable the authority even prosecute offenders. Very visible cracks, doors that are not locking properly, or windows that are jamming, it means there's a shift. If you find pavements that are broken, that means there's puncturing. The columns are puncturing the ground. Sometimes you can even see obvious cases of deflection of beams. You see a beam actually deflect, you can actually see visually. And we've had many of those cases, and we are able to evacuate. But the real sign is a confirmatory test in the lab. We look at many elements. In fact, there are 7 things we look at. For example, if we went to site and found that the skilled workers are not in uniform, they are not in safety gear, or that there is no safety sign on site, or that they're not registered with the authority, we stop the construction. If we go to site and find that maybe the building was not approved by the council, we'll stop the construction. So when you see us stopping a construction, it doesn't mean that the building cannot be rectified. In fact, the good thing about construction is that it's a science that can be rectified. So we tell the person or the owner what to do to comply.